So now we have a connection. I had a power out and my router went off, right? And I have to get an alternative using mobile internet, right? But the network is not that good, but I mean, we still have to continue the last stream. So that's why I had a part two, like two. So okay, and let's continue from where we stood. So now we have this button here, right? And you see we have the button below, but at the top here you can see the button is coming before the this. So we have to figure out a way to fix that. I think they have reversed something like that. Yeah, you see it's reversed. Okay, so what we're gonna do is if the position, so I'm gonna turn this to so it's just going to be like this, and we're going to have position equals position dot bottom dot top. Then we want to reverse it, else we just want to leave it as flex. Cool. I mean, is that even what we want to do? No. I'm trying to reverse it, bro. We have to hide the button. If it stop, I have to reverse it. We need to hide the button. So we can hide the button. It's our best option. So we can do position equals position top. So if it is position at top, no, if it is position dot bottom, we just want to show this. We want to show this button here. Right, now we come, you see now it's showing at the bottom of each node, right? And one thing that I think we want to do is in our node element, you're just going to do the same thing we did here, right? We're going to do that thing we did. We're going to do type equal action. I want to show this. And now you see we don't have it at the top here anymore, but we still have it here. Now we can increase the height of this to about, let's say 6. Right, so now what we just have to do is if we go to the node editor here, right, you can see we're having a while of 200. So we decrease that to 100. As we load the page, 100. And that 100 is not going to cover, so 150. same. 150. Okay. 150 seems to be doing wonder, but the only thing you can see is that the distance is just a little bit sharp. So now the power is back. Let's change it to 7. So let's reload this. Okay, so using 7 still doesn't match, so we're gonna use 8. Okay, I think it does work a little. What about 10? No, 9. I think it's 8. It does the job a little bit better. Like this. So, and we might not just want to use, we might want to use XSS later, like 500 or something. So you just reduce that sort of brightness and stuff. And for the button, instead of using text black, we use text late 600. But one thing that if we go to Zapier, if you open Zapier, one thing I will notice about Zapier is that whenever you hover on it, you get the add step by the right side, like an over text or something like that, like add a step, something like that. It's taking longer to load. So there's overcard in Shardscene. We have overcard. So let's go to Shardscene. Shardscene components, and we have the overcard. The overcard, and you see whenever you click on, you get this overcard that you can sort of use. So I'm going to import this everything, then I'm going to use this overcard, and there you go, overcard. You're going to put this button right, so let's format this. Now if we go to this, you see the overcard here, right? So I'm just gonna do class name text extra small, because I said the text is just so big. Yeah, that's better. So we can just have add a step, right? Nothing special. Okay, and I think you can do like where you want it to be. I think there's a content. We sort of have like line to the stats. Line to the end. Okay. But that doesn't seem to be what I'm looking for. check the property. Doc. See the same thing. Okay, API reference. Worker. Let's just come here. I can change my connection real quick. I hope the stream is not going to cancel. The stream is okay. Excellent. Yeah, good. So we've connected to the router. So we have a line, which is an enum. I'll start. Okay. Okay. Let's see. So the side is enum. So I'm just gonna do right. Let me do right. So align to start right, then this side to be right. So if we come here, good. But I'm just gonna do center. No, it's not center. It's top. It's right. Right is the one. Yeah. So, but we want it to be small, not that big. Right. So width of 10. Okay, 10 is too small. So we can do 1/6. Stay there. Okay. So then we do 6. 5/6. Six is not gonna work because if you try 10, you know. Okay, so let's say 12. Okay, 30 seems to work. P of 1 only. Yeah. Exploited frequent. That's cool. So now we have this add a step. So one thing that we really want to do, so we're gonna start this really, it might be so bad, but let's do workflow. Tears, and just copy what we have here in here. So we use workflow. So, and in the workflow, we're gonna have the notes. Just gonna be notes. Just gonna have notes, which is gonna be an array. Record, so we're gonna have record. String. There's gonna be an array of that. The same thing for connection. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy what we have in the for the nodes. Right. I'm gonna copy that and bring that here. So then we have an array of nodes. Right. So what we can actually do is we can say it's node from React Flow, right? And the same thing goes for the edge, right? The edges. So we can do, I think we can do edges. Edge is an area of edge, right? Which is good. It works. Okay. You know the data properties where we want to store like as much things as we want. So yeah. So we have the connection. Now we want to have a add node. Add node. Which is going to be that's going to be void. And what you pass in, you pass in the node ID, the current node ID. We want to know the current node ID. What I mean by the current node ID is if we want to know where they are adding it from. So if they are clicking on this plus, it means they are adding from like on that disk. So they're clicking on this plus, it means they're adding on the disk. So we want to know where they are adding to, right? Where they're trying to add from. So that's why we need the current node ID, or we can call it previous node ID, something like that, right? Which does something here, right? And give us node, right? And they're always going to be an action node, right? So we have add node, and in here what we're basically just going to be doing so what we're just basically going to be doing is we're going to be setting, so we're going to set node, so we do set on the state, and in the state we want to set the nodes, right? We want to set the nodes, so we want to have the previous nodes there, right? Which is going to come from state and nodes. Now we want to add a new one, so which is going to be new node. So here we're going to have the new node, which is going to be an array of, so the type is going to be node. Not going to be an array, it's going to be an object, sorry. So it's going to be node that we're going to generate an ID for. So to generate the ID, I'm just going to add 3 for now, right? We already use 1, 2, so I'm just going to have 3 for now. And we have the position, right, which is going to be the x of 0, y, we're not going to set y to be 150 by default, right? Because if you're setting y to be 150, that means they're just going to be laying on top of this, right? Which is wrong. Very wrong, right? And one thing that we are really going to do here is that if we are adding under this, there's already connection between these two nodes. We want to change the connection. Like we want to move, if we're adding here, we want to move this node down by 150, right? Put another node in here, right? And change the connection. And they have it, right? So we need to be able to do that, right? So we have the ID, we have the data that goes in, and we have the type, which is always going to be action. Always going to be action, right? And then we're going to have new hedge as well, and the hedge is just going to have its own ID, which I don't even think of it's necessary, but I think it needs to have its own ID. So node, edge, and it's gonna have its source, it's gonna have the target. So the source is what is the previous node ID, right? And the target is the new node dot ID, right? And we can generate an ID for this as well. So I'm just gonna call it E1 2 3, something like that. So we're gonna set this as well. So it's gonna be connections, right? And new edge, right? So then we'll be able to call this function, right? Because if we're to have it inside of the workflow editor, we will have to be passing it over and over and over and over again, and that is not just not going to work for us, right? It's not going to work for us. So, and one thing that you notice here is that you're having this on connection. You're having set edge. Okay, what we can do is that we're going to get rid of these guys, and we're going to be selecting the nodes and connections from them. So we use workflow. It's going to take any state, and we want to send back nodes. Nodes just going to be state dot nodes connection state dot connections can be initial nodes. So it's connections. Alright, so if we come here, you see we still have this, and we click on add, and nothing is really happening, because in our connector, we need to import. This goes to use workflow. So you just state dot add node. So you can mean anything here, like any node, and we can have the button on click. I want to add node. So want to send the node ID in here as well. So node ID and string, and we're going to pass in this. And so we go here. For each of these, there has to be node ID, right, which is the ID. So coming here now, if we click on this add, okay. So this is what we're going to call this connections. This is going to be nodes, and just going to comment this out, comment the on connect out. Right. Comment this out as well. Okay, so click on add. You see now it's added a node, but it's adding it on top of this. And one thing that you notice in each of our nodes is we have data and we have label. So the label is just going to be action, right? The description is going to be add an action to be performed after a trigger. So let's do that again. Click on add, and now you see action, and an action to be performed after a trigger, right? So but one thing we want to do is we just don't want to add a node, right? We want to get the current node. So we do get to state. So it is state nodes expected to. So we have get nodes the find node is node ID equals prev node ID. So we do prev node so then we do prev node that position dot y plus 150. Plus 150. Okay. Now if we click on the add, you can now see let's make this smaller. Okay. So if you click on the add, you can now see it's coming together, right? Coming together. But one thing that you notice is that even though we're adding 150, the distance is the distance is very small. The distance is very small here. Like let's say it's 300. 300 is small. It's too big. Yeah, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? If we're doing the what can we do? I think once we just into this, though it's plus 50, but we need to add the height of this, right? And I get the source node, the previous node, the position y, right? Then we now need to add the height of the source node to it, right? Which is the height, which is I think it's from here to here. So we do prove node dot height. There's gonna be height, so let's reload this page. If we had this, okay, it's adding it here, which is not doing what we really needed to do. So the s can be prev node dot position dot x. That can be the same thing. Or the y, the y, the y, the y, the y, the y. The y. I'm confused. Whew. Okay. What if we do plus 150 plus that 150, and then we have the height to it. Wait, like, is it getting the node? Because like if we initially do, let's do this. Let's add. It's adding here, right? Okay, let's print out console log prove node dots. Right. So let's click this. The console. We have the height to be undefined. Okay. Yeah. Yep. The reason why the height is undefined is that in the workflow editor we're using node states. So the state sort of changes, right? Listen. So the node state sort of changes, right, as where the height and everything sort of goes in there. But here now, we don't have that. So, and the thing is, it's not possible to do a use nodes here. It's not possible, like impossible, very very impossible, because I mean, let me use node states. Use node state. Use node state. Power set node. In here we can get the set nodes. And change. So we need this. We still need these guys. We need these guys. Like we need these guys. 100. So what we could basically do, because even though we have another thing we could do for the status, instead of using substand, we could use like context. Oh, I think we can use substand with context. So can we do here? The 1 hour is about to elapse, and we have only been able to add the add button, right? And we still need to get the node. Still get the nodes to sort of work perfectly. So if that is what we're going to be doing today, we're just going to do that and put that into the live, and we can continue from here. So we're not able to get the height. Yeah, so we're not able to get the height. We're not able to get the height. Else, the other thing we can actually do if we don't want to use this node state at all is we're just going to manually set the height. So it can be 150 and the height can be 100. That's a lot. 50. A lot. 35. Okay, 35 seems to very close. Right. So we use 30. This is going to do the job. Good. So we just need to make sure. So instead of using 150, we're going to use 180. And in here, we have the weight and height. It's going to be 30 pixel. No. Page 32. Okay, so page 30 is what is meant to be. Okay. So we just keep it. And we kept at that, right? And then we'll be able to add more. And one thing is inside of the workflow here, we're having the edge, right? You know the ID because we're having 3 here. So what we can do is install a package, a UID npm. So we can install UID 4. Is the most used, right? And we can do that by installing UID4. Install UID4, and this is how we use it. So we import UID from the UID4, and then we'll be able to do node, and then the UID. There you go. So now if we do add, right, it uses its own UID entirely. See, so now we're able to add multiple nodes into our workflow, and we can continuously add that. And the cool part is if you click on it, you want to get access to the node settings, which you'll be able to change from there. So what we're trying to get at for doing that is we are trying to make sure that we're trying to make sure that we are able to use the workflow states across the application. That's why we start creating the workflow state, right? And then this is going to start at 0, then this is going to be 180, right? Okay, it's going to be 150. Okay, 150. But why wasn't it adding the height? If I had one more now, and I had one more, it sort of gets added quite okay at 180. One is it that adding the 180 here doesn't seem to work the way we thought it's gonna work. What if I use 170? It's not gonna work. 180 is just the best number. just the best number we could use. Right. But if I use 180 here and I reload the page, like reload, yeah, the distance is still just there. So 150 is just what we can use here. But the problem is if we're having just one node like this, right? We're having exactly just one node, and I do plus. See, the distance is just awful, right? So what I could do is I could have this, let's say, states const node length. We're able to discover that, so we get the node, get the nodes, now we do the length, right? So if node length is greater than 1, I want to use 180. I always want to use 150. So now if I come here and I reload the page, oh shit, I've closed the app. 150. Run there. Next thing. And we're supposed to be using that side. So we reload. And this is 10 to the 7. We're supposed to be putting an end to this live now. And now you see we have it. Right? And the continuation sort of just works. Right? It sort of just works. Right? But one thing is, what if we had here? Right? It's sort of add on top of it. Right? So what we want to do for that is that we want to get the previous connection. Right, so we get dot connections dot find. So we find the connection was the source is equals to priv node ID. Yeah. So we get the previous connection. Right. So now what I want to do is that if it's actually connected, if it's able to find this, we already did the new node, we already did the new hedge, right? New node, new hedge, did those. I'm gonna put them at the top here. So if there's a previous connection, we want to get the connection, want to change the way the connection is sort of putting together, right? I want to resolve the connection. I guess that's what I mean. Like, to do that. What we want to do really is we want to set want to set the previous node, right? Like, we want to change the position, and we want to change the connections source, right? So let's first change the connection source. So what we can do is I think we can do it this way. Like, this thing needs to be this. I'm just gonna copy this, gonna paste it in. I'm gonna do the connection, right? And I'm just gonna say new connections, right? I'm gonna create new connections equals, so we're gonna do get new connections to map com, right? And then in there, what I want to do is want to check if the prev node, the position, the y is sort of less than, like, it's less than the node, I mean the connection. Is that what I want to do? No, I don't want to do it for connection, because I'm already thinking of node as connection. I want to check if the connection .id equals the prev edge, which is the prev connection .id. Since it exists, we already check if it exists, right, is equals to that. So if it is equals to that, what we want to do is we want to set the other details about the connection, right, like the ID and stuff. But we want to change the source. We want to change the source to, we want to set the source to the new node .id. That's what we want to do there. Standard set for what we're trying to do. Else, we just want to return the connection, right? So that's for the connection. For the node, we want to change the position of the node, right? So can do const new nodes equals no, we get the nodes dot map, right? So we can just do n. And what we want to do there is we need to check if the prev node dot position dot y is less than the node dot position dot y. So if it is less than that, we want to change the position. I want to add to the position actually. So as we are returning the node, so which is going to be everything in that node, then we get the position, and as you know, the x is just going to be the same thing, 0. We're not changing that. Is the y that needs to change, which is going to be n dot position dot y, and then we're going to have 180 to it, and then we're going to set the nodes to be new nodes, right? And just gonna return. Okay. But we're not even returning, so all we have it's gonna return. Let's return here. Okay. Now let's reload. Let's add the node. So you see UID4 is deprecated. Use v4. v4 That's v4. It's in v4 function, so v4 function just coming from UUID. Okay, so instead of we installing the UID4, I'm meant to npm on install UUID4 and npm install UUID4 to UUID. That's UUID. Yeah, okay. And for this connection as well, edge as well, just gonna do edge. Let me just say com. Let me just put edge con con UUID. Okay, so now we have this. Right, now do this. It sort of moved down. So what we can do for this is we do this. I'm passing the new node. I'm sorry. Yeah, new node. So we're gonna do the same thing for this as well. So I'm passing new edge. Just gonna be this. Okay. Now add sort of we were adding here. It adds like I had here. It adds. Let me sort of add their ID to their label. Action UID. So if I had this C74, now you see it adds under A, right? But one thing is that this is messed up. So let me do plus 100. Or plus 30. It's just 30 that needs to add. Okay. I think between this, that sort of hurts, but so we get a source node. I mean, it's adding now. We know it's adding. State. So we added the node, the new node. We added the new node. Then we are adding one as the 150. So we have the new connections that we're checking that this is working. Like this is working. Okay. Let me do 50. Let me add 52. Like that's literally working. What should we do? Less than. Wait, I just changed less than to less than. Why should we do greater than? I had this, okay. And I had this, okay. I had this. But it's sort of like adding to them, which is not what we want. If is less than, which means like it's less than, then we want to add to them, right? So we're using the Y to sort of arrange their position, which might not work for us unless we rearrange the nodes using the connection. But for now, we're going to stop here today and we're going to continue tomorrow, right? But we're very sure it's adding perfectly, right? It's just we having to deal with the length, and we'll continue on that tomorrow. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.